Jets fans? This is Luca here from Gangrene Chronicles, and today I will be previewing 5 key storylines heading into the Jets opener versus the Pittsburgh Steelers Week 1. Game will be played at 1 o'clock on September 7th on Sunday. But if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so when I go live or drop a new video. Regardless, let's get into it. Storyline number 1. Pretty obvious. Aaron Rodgers returned to MetLife Stadium. Rodgers, former Jets quarterback of 2 years, really only played one because of the Achilles injury. Traded to the Jets in April of 2023, was seen as many, including myself, to be the savior of the franchise. Ultimately, he wasn't. Not all of it was his fault, some of it was, but the circumstances didn't allow him to be successful with the Jets, and amongst many other different things, the Jets released him in February, and Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji decided to move on without him. Rodgers signed with the Steelers this past offseason, and he looks to make the Steelers into a contender. This could be quite possibly his final season as an NFL quarterback, but regardless, you look at Rodgers' games last year. In 17 games with the Jets, 2024, 3,895 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 6.7 yards per attempt, and a 90.5 passer rating. Also, I wanted to bring up in terms of the Jets' reception and the fans and all these different things in terms of Rodgers, what kind of reception is Aaron Rodgers going to get? We know we're going to have a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans coming in from Pittsburgh and across the country to see Aaron Rodgers play his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler, waving their terrible towels and such and singing their Renegade. But regardless, put aside the Steelers fans for a second. Are Jets fans going to cheer Aaron Rodgers? Are they going to boo Aaron Rodgers? Considering that he is the opponent, I think that it would be just for Jets fans to boo Aaron Rodgers. Don't have to boo him, but I think it would be just. But regardless, moving into what the Jets should do with Aaron Rodgers on the opposing team, blitz, blitz, blitz. Go back to last year. 2 worst games that he played were back-to-back. Denver in Week 4, where the Jets lost, I believe it was 10-9, and Minnesota, where the Jets lost on a game-losing interception from Aaron Rodgers. I believe he threw 3 interceptions that game. But regardless, you notice, you go back to watch that game, both in Denver with Vance Joseph as the defensive coordinator and Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator. Both teams blitzed Aaron Rodgers heavy, and in fact, he's bottom 10 in these stats as of the last 3 years. He is bottom 10 in completion percentage over expected. He is bottom 10 in defensive value over adjusted. He's also bottom 10 also in estimated points added. So Rodgers versus the blitz is I shouldn't say is a disaster, but he's likely to get less results when facing pressure, and we know that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks will like to blitz with an immobile quarterback under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 2, let's start with the other quarterback, Justin Fields for the New York Jets. His first game and possibly last tryout as an NFL starter. Justin Fields spent a few years in Chicago, was traded to Pittsburgh last year, started 6 games for them, was benched in favor of Russell Wilson, who would later depart the Steelers to play for the New York Giants. But in those 6 games, Justin Fields did solid. 1,106 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 6.9 yards per attempt, and a passer rating of 93.3. Guaranteed it's only 6 games. What another fact, and his best advantage on defenses and on the offensive side of the ball is his rushing. 62 attempts, 289 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns with the Steelers, and 4.7 yards per carry. He's definitely going to add an element of rushing to this offense with Breece Hall, with Braylon Allen, with Isaiah Davis, and the Jets are going to want to ground and pound it heavy. So Justin Fields, besides the rushing, and we can go beyond that, with the passing, it is going to be the ultimate X factor for this game, an ultimate X factor for this season, because we all know Justin Fields can rush the football like hell, but can he make those easy reads? Can he go from the first read to the second read? Can he call out a defense? Can he see what the defense is doing? Can he call out protections? Can he see the blitz early? How's his blind side? How's his internal clock in the pocket? Those things for Justin Fields will definitely be the ultimate turning point, whether it's a downside or an upside for Justin Fields in terms of what could be his final year as possibly as a starter for the New York Jets. Number 3, battle the trenches. Steelers offensive line versus the Jets defensive line. Offensive line for the Jets versus defensive line of the Steelers. Let's start with the Jets offensive line versus Steelers defense. You got TJ Watt, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, top 3 you could argue, versus Armand Membu, a rookie out of Missouri, rookie tackle for the Jets. And it's going to be very interesting to see this matchup. Will the Jets apply help early to help with TJ Watt? How will Membu do? Because this is a very tough matchup for a rookie tackle. I remember, I think it was 2020, Mekhi Becton lined up against, I'm not sure who was pass rushing for the Bills. He was a really feared pass rusher. Could be wrong, but he had a interesting game against the Buffalo Bills, and he was 50-50. He struggled a little bit. Could Membu possibly struggle? It's within the realm of possibilities. It would be unsurprising to see him struggle a little bit versus TJ Watt, but the Jets have to give him help early on. Moving to another matchup with the tackles is Olu Fashanu versus Alex Highsmith. Highsmith, a very underrated pass rusher. Basically, TJ Watt's Robin to, I should say, Highsmith is the Robin to TJ's Batman. He'll be facing Olu Fashanu. Fashanu in his second year. He's had an up and down training camp. He looked solid. Up and down also last year in his rookie season, got hit playing time near towards the end, mostly left tackle with Tyron Smith being out. Did play some right tackle last year, but he's back in his natural position. He's gotten in sync with this offensive line, hopefully. So Highsmith and TJ Watt are 2 of the Steelers' best pass rushers, and they're going to go against 2 of the Jets' offensive tackles. The other element of this matchup between the Jets' offensive line versus the Steelers' defensive line has to be Josh Myers taking over and Joe Tippmann sliding over to guard. I'm not so much concerned about Joe Tippmann because he's been well above average as a guard. You look back to his play in 2023, he was really good as a rookie. 2024, he was playing center. He was well above average as well, but you saw the struggles with the communication with the center. You saw the struggles with the ability to snap the ball. Less pressure on him is definitely a good sign, but with the injury to AVT, best believe that Joe Tippmann is in a position to succeed at right guard. You move over to center. Josh Myers was signed as depth piece this offseason, and it's not the best case scenario for him to play because he was one of the league's bottom of the league centers last year in run blocking. The Jets are going to want to run the football a lot. He was closer to average with pass blocking, but run blocking is going to be a struggle, especially against this Steelers' vaunted defensive front with Keanu Benton and Cameron Hayward. But it's going to be real interesting because right now, Josh Myers is undoubtedly the Jets' weakest link on the line. Number 4, this also goes into a bit of game planning. You start out with Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 1, and I'm really interested to see if the Jets, A, can expand the passing game a little bit. Number 2, which receiver, tight end, or running back arises outside of Garrett Wilson. He can't do it all, folks. He's likely going to be doubled to, who knows, maybe even to start the game, but as he gets touches early on, the defenses will adjust, and this is not going to be a thing through the Steelers game. It's probably going to happen all season. I'm really interested to see who makes their mark to start the season, whether it's Allen Lazard being a potential option, secondary option to Garrett Wilson for Justin Fields. Can he surprise fans? Mason Taylor and Jelani Woods. Woods was picked off waivers. Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end out of LSU. You also have Breece Hall. Could he have a big year, potentially on the final year? Well, not potentially. On the final year of his contract, could he be a potential trade deadline target? There's a lot of rumors regarding him. And then another guy who could potentially step up is Arian Smith. And it's not fair to say that he should have big expectations because he is a 6th-round pick. But with the Jets' lack of wide receiver to help or the lack of prominent bodies, Arian Smith is going to have to step up. And it's going to be a big development because he's played well in the preseason, wasn't dropping many passes, running solid routes. He could burn a defense deep. It will be interesting to see how far Justin Fields can see downfield. Will he be able to make those reads to Arian Smith? He is a burner. Arian Smith is a burner, but can his hands develop? Can he drop less passes? I'm excited to see what Smith can bring, but I just don't want Jets fans to expect too much out of this kid yet with the lack of bodies in the receiver room. Number 5, Aaron Glenn's coaching. First game as a Jets head coach, drafted by the franchise in the 90s. Put all that aside. This is his game to start this, to set the tone for the season and for his coaching tenure as a Jet. Talk about game preparation. Talk about tone. Is this team on both? And we're talking both sides of the ball here. We talking this team's going to be soft. They're going to come out unprepared, undisciplined. Are they going to come out hard hitting, physical? Won't let the opponents shake them down, be physically tough, be mentally tough, overcome adversity. That's what we're looking for with Aaron Glenn and this team's mindset, because you look at Robert Saleh's teams, you look at Adam Gase's teams, Todd Bowles, they all melted like cheese, very soft. Who's the leader on the defense? Who's going to emerge as a leader? Obviously, we'll have Jamin Sherwood as a captain. Was selected, I believe this is his first year as a captain for the Jets. Regardless, is this team going to come out hard-hitting and physical and disciplined? Or are they going to come out soft and sloppy and undisciplined in front of their home crowd? Another portion of Aaron Glenn's coaching, in-game adjustments. If they don't see something is going well immediately, whether it's Justin Fields not being able to throw the ball downfield, whether it's the Jets not being able to establish the ground game with struggles at center or struggles within the offensive line. How do they overcome that? How can they maximize the best of their talent? That's a big thing as well. Are they stubborn defensively? What if they're not getting to Aaron Rodgers? What if the ground game really starts going for the Steelers? How can the Jets adjust? And it's all about not just the adjustments themselves, it's about when you can make those adjustments. Are you doing that on the fly? Are you doing that on halftime? Are you going to not make any adjustments at all? And that is also a big tone setter for Aaron Glenn and his coaching staff as a collective. I'm also looking at Aaron Glenn's demeanor on the sideline. Talked about adversity, talked about mental toughness and physical toughness. Is Aaron Glenn going to stand on the sideline like this and just watch? Is he going to be on the sideline talking to players and saying, hey, you know what, you got to do this better? Or talk to the individual units, whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side, say, hey guys, what's going on? How can we fix such and such? And really talk with the players, establish that camaraderie where players can trust the coach and trust their head coach and say, hey coach, you know, we're doing this and this wrong. How can we do better? And Aaron Glenn being the CEO coach is key, because obviously he knows the defensive side of the ball with him being a corner, being a defensive coordinator. It's also about him being a CEO coach on the offensive side of the ball. Like, what are we doing offensively? Potentially Aaron Glenn could go to the sideline and say, hey, this is what the defense is doing. How can you guys improve and really disturb the defense based on what's going on? What's this concept? All these different things. Aaron Glenn establishing a communication on the sideline with his players during the game and when adversity strikes is going to be huge for Aaron Glenn and what a lot of fans will evaluate him as a coach for. Last but not least, time management and type of game plan. How aggressive is Aaron Glenn? Is he going to be more conservative like Robert Saleh? Is he going to be very aggressive like Dan Campbell, his mentor? And I think there's a happy medium to both sides. You don't have to be ultra aggressive in every situation where you don't have to go for it every fourth down, but you also don't want to be too conservative where you're potentially costing your team games, winning games when it comes down to like little 4th and 1s, 4th and 2, you're down by 3 at midfield. Do you go for it or do you punt it, hoping the defense will get you the ball back? All these different things where that was a big criticism of Robert Saleh, very, very much conservative. And that also goes to game plan too. Are the Jets going to play a keep away game as expected? Are they going to air it out a little bit more than we think? Will there be surprises? Will the Jets throw a play action on first down? And I know that's the offensive side of the ball, but you look at it, Glenn will oversee play calling on both sides, with Steve Wilkes doing the defense and Tanner Engstrand doing the offense. Maybe Aaron Glenn's a little more aggressive than we think, not just in terms of the fourth downs and going for it, but also saying, hey, you know what? If such and such is working, like Justin Fields is throwing the ball really well, let's keep doing that instead of going down to the run game and adjusting away from what was really working. And that's going to be key for Aaron Glenn. Also, this is on the offensive side of the ball too. What does the 2-minute drill look like? Are the Jets organized? And this is a big thing as well with time management. Are the Jets organized? Are they getting up to the huddle? 2-minute drill, for the Jets, most of the time it allows them to make field goals. But we want to see touchdowns coming out of these 2-minute drills. How quickly can they get in and out of the huddle? How quickly can they run a no-huddle offense? All these different things involved. 2-minute drill. Like, Jets fans and just overall, like, the league in general is about scoring touchdowns, not field goals. The problem with the Jets past couple of years is settling for way too many field goals. Well, and that also could put 2 and 2 together. 2-minute drill and Aaron Glenn's aggressiveness or lack of thereof. So Aaron Glenn's coaching is probably the biggest X factor for this game for the Jets, and that is number 5 on key storylines heading into the Jets opener. So tonight, I will be joined by my former co-host, Vinny Massical. He'll be rejoining us for his return. I'm happy to have him back and talk football with. But tonight on our live stream for the season preview, we'll also be having Frankie V from U Stadium. He also does some work with the New York Post along with Ryan Sampson as well. Those two do a great job, but we'll be having Frankie V on. He's great, a lot of football knowledge, but regardless, the stream starts at 8 p.m. Appreciate your guys' support, but if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so when I go live or drop a new video. Also, feel free to share this out. Feel free to comment as well your thoughts on the game. My final prediction for the New York Jets, unfortunately, I do not see them winning this contest. I'd like to be proven wrong. I have the Steelers winning 16-13. It's going to be a last-second field goal from Chris Boswell. I think the Jets' offense is able to muster at least one touchdown, but I think the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers are able to get downfield and easily able to tire out the defense. I do think they win the battle of time of possession, but overall it's going to be a struggle for this Jets offense versus vaunted Steelers front. Defensively, Justin Fields, his first game as a Jet, but hoping to be wrong, as I said. With that being said, folks, catch us tonight at 8 p.m. for our stream, season preview stream, and also keep supporting the channel. More content to come on the way. With that being said, folks, go Jets. Catch y'all later.